From the USA to Europe and into the Caribbean, all the world over, this is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, keeping you inspired and informed.
Are you looking for delicious meals cooked to perfection from authentic Jamaican spices? At Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant, your taste buds will love the delectable, mouth-watering oxtails, curry goat, curry chicken, steamed fish, jerk chicken, and vegetable meals, freshly cooked and served by the loving, warm, and attentive chef and staff. Centrally located in Codman Square, 38 Norfolk Street, Dorchester Center, Massachusetts, you can get to Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant for your breakfast, lunch, dinner meals, and vegan dishes. Taste of Eden Jamaican Restaurant is open Mondays through Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Fridays and Sundays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed on Saturdays. We cater and deliver by Uber Eats, Grubhub, and DoorDash. Call 617-282-0077 or order online at www.tasteofedenjamaican.net.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
Can I take a moment to tell you about an affordable, accredited, and friendly place that will educate, equip, and develop you into a leader that will impact the world? That place is Emmett Global Theological Seminary and College. Emmett means truth in Hebrew, and for those seeking a training ground that prepares real people for ministry in a real world, Emmett is here for you. With fully online classes at emmettseminary.com, you can choose from 32 specialized certificate courses, Diploma of Theology, Associate of Theology, Bachelor of Theology, Master of Theology, Master of Sacred Studies, Doctor of Sacred Studies, and Doctor of Theology degree programs. Emmett Seminary offers exceptional biblical education from some of the world's leading educators in an environment which fosters higher learning both spiritually and intellectually for career, ministry, and character development. Visit emmettseminary.com today for more information on one of the most extraordinary values ever offered in Christian higher education. That's emmettseminary.com, E-M-E-T, seminary.com. Our site is very user-friendly, and advisors are ready to help. emmettseminary.com, delivering absolute Bible truth in this eon.
Hey, you're listening to Caribbean Gospel Radio FM, your number one gospel station, with your host, Monica. Keep the radio on, we're gonna have fun, gonna dance about, everybody shout, giving God the glory, everybody say yeah, yeah. Keep the radio on, we're gonna have fun, gonna dance about, and everybody shout, giving God the glory, everybody say yeah, yeah. Caribbean Gospel Radio FM.com.
I thank you. Blessed and pleasant Monday to you. We made it. We made it. We made it into another year. And it is Monday indeed. It is time for our program, our legal program, The Law and You. Of course, we're on every second and fourth Mondays of the month. And guess what? We're already on into our second Monday of the month. And I have the beautiful, lovely, lovely host of the program here with me. And I'm putting her up on the screen right now. Can you hear me, attorney? Can you hear me? Wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. We're back up and running. I worked on it yesterday. Thank you so much. You're live in living colors, and the folks are seeing you. Folks, we just want to welcome you again to the program. This is Caribbean Gospel Radio FM. I don't do a whole lot of typing inside this program. I'm listening intently and interacting with the host of the program. I'm the co-host, by the way. Attorney Georgia Lawrence is here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you again. Oh, I think I have something nice that I can use as well. And so we want to welcome you, those on online radio box, TuneIn Radio, Nobex Radio, Facebook, YouTube, Radio Garden, and those who are actually listening in or watching via Attorney Lawrence's Facebook page. We want to welcome you as well. We do understand that you are our extended family on second and fourth Mondays. So we want to welcome you if you're listening in via Attorney Georgia Lawrence's Facebook page. Thank you so much. I want to welcome Alana, Tom, and Spirit, Jasmine, Nora Pearson, Lise Michael on the Facebook side, and those that are with me here, Marcia Robinson and Jyrene George with me right now on YouTube. Those that are listening incognito, no matter where you are, we want to welcome you this evening, and I'm pretty sure that you are going to be learning something from the program. Welcome to our host. Of course, she's virtual. I'm in studio. Attorney Georgia Lawrence. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you too. Wow. Happy New Year. And we do have somebody else that you'll introduce later on that is joining the program. So thank you again. How was your Christmas and New Year?
It was good. Because of COVID, I really stayed home for the most part, but spending time with family, that's always the best. How was your holiday?
Oh, it was great. I went to Jamaica. I took a run.
Awesome.
It was so good. It was so good. Of course, we have the Resilient Corridor, so we couldn't go, into the island and do all that we wanted to do. But that was fun. I was on a resort and I had everything at my fingertips. So it was good. I got out a little bit, visited my family members in Hanover. But it was really, 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 can I rub it in a little bit more? Really, really good. Thank you so much for asking. All right, so here goes the program this evening, guys. We want to thank you for coming in, and I just want to breathe a word of prayer before we start. Of course, we have little attorney there with mommy. Your hair looks so nice. You look
thank you.
Yes, so beautiful. New Year style, huh?
New Year style, new cut.
All right. How is hubby doing?
He's doing well.
Good.
This is the boys' channel.
That's okay. Let me just breathe a quick word of prayer as we get into tonight's program. Father, we just want to thank you for who you are. As we come tonight, God, we know it's always about you. You're first and foremost in everything that we do. And so, God, we ask that your presence be felt with us tonight as we will touch matters, oh God, of great importance to your people, and even matters that will bring back memories that are not so pleasant. Father God, we ask that you will be the healer inside this program. Pray that you'll give us clarity to whatever is being discussed here tonight, that we shall all say it was good for us to be here. Open our minds and our understanding, and just give us wisdom in whatever we will be undertaking tonight. And to you be the glory and the honor. In Jesus' name we say thank you. Amen and amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Take it away, attorney. It's your program.
All righty. Thank you. But before we start, so when you were going to Jamaica, I know now they have where you have to upload like an authorization and COVID results. Is there anything else that they're putting in place?
Well, actually, the first thing you do is apply for permission to enter the country. So you do that application, and then they tell you you have to get that COVID negative test result within 10 days of travel. And they have a calendar there. You have to actually enter your date of travel, and then they'll tell you the earliest date that you can go and do that test. And trust me, you can't do the rapid testing. It's a specific lab test that they want, and they state it, and the labs that are allowed to do it. So you can't go any and everywhere to get it done. I'm like, yay, my little island is really doing it, you know. So you got to get that. And then once you get to the airport, the harassment start, the good harassment. No, but it's good. It's really good. It's for the protection of the people.
Yeah, those measures are good. Keep the numbers down.
Exactly. So once you get to the airport, somebody comes in line, and you got to have that letter, whether on your device. It can be electronic, or you can have hard copy. I had both just in case. So somebody came in the line, checked it, and once you get to the counter, they check it again. So they got to make sure. And then when you're going through TSA, then they ask, for it, whatever. But I was in the pre-check line, so I, minimized the harassment on me. But, yeah, you got to have it. And I'm so proud of Jamaica for doing that. Now China has started that. So I'm really proud of that. And on the plane, social distancing. You could see it was very evident. So I was in the back of the plane with my sister and her husband. I asked for us to be seated together, and because we're family, they did put us together. But across from me, I had 6 seats that I could play in. Are you hearing me? Okay, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Now I'm hearing you. Okay, I couldn't hear you before. Yeah, so those are the measures that they put in place. And once you apply for the permission to enter Jamaica, you have to sign off on being obedient to their rules, basically. So they ask you where you're going to stay, and the rules are a little bit different for those on the resort than for those who are going to be staying with family members. So they ask you to stay within the resilient corridor. You got to check with your hotel for places that you can and cannot visit while you are there. So no quarantine was required of us because we were in or on the resort. So we followed the resort rules. But had I stayed with family, then I would have had to quarantine. But what I noticed when I was coming back on the airplane, they told us that it is suggested that we quarantine for 14 days once we get on land, but it is not required. So America doesn't require us to quarantine, but guess what? They say you can do it. Jamaica requires it, and I like that. Way to go, Jamaica. I really like that. All right, so here we go with our program. Attorney Lawrence, I think she's having a little issue back there setting up. You ready?
Yes, I think I'm good now. Let me just apologize in advance.
That's that's a mommy. Mommy mode has kicked in, y'all. All right, let me go ahead and introduce the fine attorney again to you. You need a moment, or are you ready? Go ahead, you talk.
Give me a moment.
All right, okay. She's asking for a moment there. She'll be back, guys, in living color. So let me just tell you a little bit more about Attorney Georgia Lawrence. And she has a guest on tonight as well. And she will be telling you about her momentarily. Don't you go anywhere. Just stay right there.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I would was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
All right, and we are expecting you to call in with your questions, talk to attorney Georgia Lawrence. I want to say good evening right now to a couple folks that are listening in. Thank you so much for coming in. Attorney Tiffany Coleman is in. Good evening to you. And let me just let the people see your lovely face. Let me see if I can bring you on camera. Just say something. If I can get you up here. I am trying. Let's see. You got to say something, though. All right, let me see what I can do. All right, there we go. All right, say hello to the folks. All right, I'm bad back here. Say it again one more time.
I said good evening. Hello, everybody.
All right, good evening. Happy New Year. You're so beautiful. Happy New Year. All right. And Attorney Lawrence will be back. I think she has some mommy duties that she's taking care of back there. So
My godson.
Yes. I wanted to wait for her to come back, start the program, and then to introduce it. Okay, so here she is. Let me put her in so that she can come on in. All right. Ooh, what did I do? All right, so here we go. So, Attorney Lawrence, go ahead.
Yes. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us. And hey, that should be your contraceptive right there. That little boy will not let me be great. Hi.
All right,
So,
let me say hello to a couple people that's on the program. I want to say hello to Marcia, Jyrene, Sister Dacia. Good evening to you guys. Marcel Spain, thank you so much for coming on out and supporting my cousin in Canada, Veronica Gale. Also, my niece, Veronica Wilson Kessner. Good evening to you, Omar Salki and the family. Pastor Jason Simpson and your beautiful wife, Lady Simpson. Good evening to you all, and thank you so much for coming on out. Over to you, Attorney.
all right, thank you. Well, this week we are going to continue talking about the violence visa. Before the new year started, we spoke about U visa, T visa, and just different avenues of getting a green card. Most people are familiar with the process through marriage, but we started talking about if you were a victim of violence and some of the ways that you can get a green card. And as usual, if you have questions, go ahead, send them into Dr. Monica or post your question on Facebook. I will be checking periodically and answering questions. You can also call in with your questions. And this week we have Miss Tiffany Coleman here with us. She's an attorney in Florida, and she does. Introduce yourself, Tiffany. What do you do?
I am an attorney, and I do a various amounts of areas. Like, so I go into different areas. I am a legal aid attorney, so we get to see multiple different things that happen between different people. So I am blessed to have
Wow.
different skills. I don't know.
You look like 16, Attorney Coleman.
I look 60. Oh, thank you.
I like to see all you. I like to see all you young lawyers. You know, that my daughter is aspiring as well. She wants to be a gynecologist. She also wants to minor in law, and then she wants to bundle that and be a medical lawyer because she wants to represent the medical industry, like hospitals and all of those things. So I like to see young people doing that. So congrats to you, Attorney Coleman and Attorney Lawrence.
Thank you.
Yes.
Her daughter is smart, wanting to do medical and law.
That's an uprising area of law that a lot of people are not in yet. So she
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So Attorney Coleman will be answering some of our family law related questions as it pertains to violence visa, specifically VAWA, Violence Against the Women Act, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be breaking it up into, can you hear Elihu?
Yes, we hear him.
He's probably hungry.
No, he's not.
He's not. He just wants to be out here. That's what he
He
wants.
wants to be on the video. That's what he's trying to do, but I'm trying to keep him locked away.
That's all right. We can get by that. Just go ahead.
Okay. So let me do this. Let me pull this up. Give me just a second.
All right.
You got a powerful.
Alrighty. Are you hearing me, Dr. Monica?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, perfect. So, Violence Against Women Act. I think a lot of people probably heard about this, and there are a lot of falsities surrounding this relief that immigration offers, and it first starts even in the name, where it says Violence Against Women Act, and a lot of people think that you have to be involved in some sort of physical violence for it to even apply to your case. And then a lot of people think that it only relates to females. But you have a lot of men who have applied for this, and they have gotten their green card based on this relief that Congress passed in 1994. So just real quick, an overview of what it is. It basically gives certain immigration benefits to people who are victim of crimes, and it has to be crime based on spouse, parents, or a U.S. citizen child, and I'll break that down shortly for you. And with this, if you're eligible, you file what is called the I-360. A lot of people are familiar with the I-130. But this is the I-360 self-petition or VAWA petition. And this is one of the areas where I do believe that even if you don't hire an attorney, you need to have some sort of consultation with an attorney, because these cases aren't easy to prove. A lot of people may qualify, but they're not easy to prove. And the supporting documents and legal support that normally goes with it, I'll tell everyone, like, try to reach out to an attorney, even if it means just for consultation. And with this, it can also be filed even if you have a current petition. Like, I know a lot of people, say for instance, they get married to a U.S. citizen spouse, and that's where the relationship gets abusive. And at that point, the spouse may have already started processing the paperwork for them to adjust status. And they feel like, oh, I have to stay in this, or I just have to endure until my documents are sorted out. That's not the case. With this type of relief, you're able to convert from the family-based petition to a self-petition and get the benefits like you would have if it was through that particular spouse. So once the VAWA petition is approved, then you get classified into the preference system like you have the family base. If it's to a U.S. citizen, then you can go ahead and file everything like you would in a concurrent filing with the adjustment based on a family member. But if it's with a lawful permanent resident or a green card holder where, you have to wait until that petition is approved, the process is the same like you were doing it through a spouse. And in order to, the eligibility for this is first based on a spouse. So you can file for yourself if you were abused by a U.S. citizen spouse or a permanent resident. And you can also apply if your child was abused by that individual. So a lot of times you have people who come from foreign countries and they have a child with them, and then that step parents may be abusive to the child. Even if the parents, say the mom or the dad, would be the biological parent of the child, isn't facing any abuse. And normally it's the case where they think that they're not abused. But if you should do a thorough interview, you realize that they have, in fact, been abused. You can get some sort of relief that way too. And then you can file if you are the parent of a
He made
if
it out
you're the
there.
parent of a U.S. citizen. And I think we've defined this already in earlier shows, but a child where you could file would have to be based on the child being 21, 21 years or older. And also, if you are the
21 years or older, or 21 years or younger?
no, for the parent to file.
Oh, for the parents. They
For the
have to be.
parent to file, yeah, I may have said misstated that. Yeah, for the parent to file, and it's the same thing for the child. If you're an abused child under the age of 21, and this includes stepchildren as well, then you're able to file this petition.
Okay.
And Tiffany, I know you may be more familiar with this, but as far as like what some of the things that abuse entails, do you have that information?
Well, when I don't really deal with VAWA clients, but I deal with domestic violence victims all the time throughout working. So when they do come in my office, we discuss, different avenues to get to where they want to go. A lot of times, some are not ready to leave just right that moment. Some, believe that there is no place to go, or that person has all the funds or means that they're not able to have an independent life on their own. So we discuss like what we call a safety plan, where they put together a plan where if they were going to leave on their own time, how they would leave, where they would go, people they would contact, and that of that sort. And I immediately advise them to get an injunction, especially if there's an immediate threat or danger to themselves or their children, to just immediately get an injunction filed against that person. And injunction kind of it stops that person from being in contact with you and being a certain amount of feet in you. Usually, when a judge approves an injunction, it's for a year, and you can get it renewed as many times as you want to. But that's what I suggest for domestic violence victims. Injunctions, sometimes they don't work, sometimes they do, but that's the
True.
first step before even gathering up a divorce, just to separate on just for your safety.
Yeah, that's good. And yeah, you're right, because a lot of clients that I deal with, one of the number one thing they always talk about is not being financially dependent. So they're like, oh, we have kids, he pays all the bills, he does this, I just can't leave. So you're right.
Yeah, and some of them are like stay-at-home moms, and then they just endure the things that happen to them because that person holds the cards in one hand, and then they think they're not able to do anything at all. But yeah, that's basically what I advise them to do. And then we get into the divorce process after, even injunctions. We talk about divorce and if they're ready for divorce, and being able I think the biggest thing is when you have children with that person, because then there comes in time sharing, because that's a part of divorce with minor children. It's time sharing. And a lot of times parents of that so don't want to see or have contact with the other person because of the abuse that they've endured. However, there's a way you can get supervised visitations, or if it's really, really bad, especially against the children, then you can let the judge know of the injunctions and things against this person, that it would be a detriment to the child to even be in contact with them.
Yeah, and just want to put this disclaimer out here that this isn't legal advice. Everything is case specific. So if you or someone you know want to get into more details as to something that you may be going through or that person may be going through, feel free to send us a message and we'll see if we can help in any way possible. And again, this may be a touchy subject tonight, but it is definitely something that needs to be talked about because unfortunately a lot of people are going through certain things and they feel like they have no way out. So in looking to the eligibility requirements for being a spouse, so based on immigration, it means if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident, and if it's a case like Tiffany was saying where there is some sort of separation or it even ends in a divorce, the only requirement is that you file within 2 years. So you can separate, you can divorce the person, and within 2 years you can file the VAWA self-petition. And
but you
when
gotta
I say
remain.
married, you're saying something, Dr. Monica?
But you gotta have you gotta remain unmarried though. You can't be married to Tom and
Yeah.
okay.
So if you
Okay.
divorce within that time, you
Mhm.
can't get married within that 2 year period. Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you have to show that you have entered into the marriage in good faith. And this is the case with most petition where it's not just for immigration benefit. And what that means when it comes to a spouse, just like you would have to prove your case for the adjustment of status, is the same thing here where you have to show cohabitation and commingling of financial assets and prove that you were in fact in a valid marriage. And one of the other requirement with VAWA is that you have to prove good moral character. And there are a number of ways that you can do this. The most common is to get a police certification or something from the police department showing that you don't have a criminal history. And a lot of times these victims will also work on a declaration, and in those declarations you can attest to the fact too that you have not been involved in any criminal activity, you don't have any criminal history and so forth. And then we have
Yeah, Lihu, you wanna come on?
be quiet. Then you have eligibility requirements based for children. So
I guess he needs his mommy. You know how that goes.
there you go. There we go. Yes, so for being a child, so you're the child, that means you're the child of a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent abuser. And that can
Wait,
either
wait,
be
wait. A lawful permanent abuser?
the lawful permanent resident. Who is the abuser? Yes.
I know, but the way you say it.
Lawful permanent resident who is the abuser. You just like seeing yourself. What Jesus?
Good evening, young attorney. No, don't touch it. No, you can't touch it. All right, mommy's helping a lot of us right now, okay? Okay, Liu? Mommy's helping us. All right. Okay, and thank you so much, guys, for coming in. I just had to get that in. All right, so Attorney Lawrence is here, and she's actually telling us, if you're just coming in, she's talking about the VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act. And I kind of wanted to ask for a while, do we have one violence against men, too?
But that's what I was saying, where it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's the same thing. And you have a lot of men who they'll get through. And I'm going to talk some more about this because
Yes.
I think a lot of men, especially from the Caribbean, they're ashamed to come forward.
Yes. Ego.
And sometimes you may talk to them and they'll be like, oh, we're just having some issues, and they won't get into it. But it's through interviewing them, you let them know like that is in fact abuse. And a lot of times when I'm talking to different clients, I don't use the term like domestic violence, abuse, abuser, because people don't want to admit it. Because the truth is, and when you study the cycle of domestic violence and abuse, you'll see it. people are normally still in love with their abuser.
True.
Because normally it's
True.
the case where it's the father of your child, the mother of your child, and you will still love that person. So they don't want to see them as an abuser, and they don't want to talk about it. Like I've spoken to men, and they're like, "Oh, we just get into arguments." But then when you talk to them, you hear further like, "Yeah, she'll do stuff like she'll slap me in the face." That's abuse.
Whoa.
Yeah, but if you don't get into details with them, they won't say it. So it applies to men as well. And I'm hoping that if there is a male out there and this can help you, you do come forward. No need to be ashamed because abusers can be male and female. Tiffany, you were saying something?
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing with you. It's a masculine thing. Like, you don't want to be labeled as the one being abused because you're a man, and you're not supposed to, be that one, that weak person, I guess, in the sense that they see it.
Yes, so true. And then you have eligibility requirement for a parent. So you're a qualifying parent, son or daughter relationship means that you're the parent of a U.S. citizen son or daughter who is at least 21 years of age when the petition is filed. So in this case, for the parents, it cannot be a lawful permanent resident. It has to be a U.S. citizen child. And they have to be 21 years of age and you've suffered extreme battery, cruelty. You have resided with that abusive child and you're a person of good moral character. And just like you prove good moral character for the spouse, being a parent, you prove good moral character in the same way too. All right, and let me check. Do we have any questions, Dr. Monica?
I just wanted a moment to let them know that we're taking questions. They can call us on the line right here at 404-647-1706, or you can ask your question on our Facebook platform or on YouTube as well. So let me just head on over to YouTube and check if anybody's asking. Okay, no, there are no questions as yet, but there's a good afternoon for you guys. So no questions as yet.
Okay, thank you. And I would check, but I don't know where my phone is.
Uh-oh. You sure he didn't have the phone? Well, let me just tell the folks that we're taking questions. So, guys, if you want to know more about this, also, Attorney Lawrence, let me put this up here for you guys to see it as well, that you can actually reach out to her law office, georgialaw21@gmail.com, and she will respond to you. Again, as she says, it's a case-by-case basis. So what you're getting here this evening is just general information. So please reach out to her, georgialaw21@gmail.com. You can also find her on Facebook at, want to tell us again what your Facebook handle is?
Yeah, it's Georgia Lawrence LLC.
Georgia Lawrence LLC. And just go ahead and send her an email. She will respond to you, all right? So if you have any questions this evening, again, attorney, we have two attorneys here, immigration attorney and a family law attorney at your disposal. So, guys, we want you to use it to your advantage, and make sure that you send your questions in. All right, so I have a question, because we were just talking about VAWA, and we got to have proof. And you mentioned something about certification where you would be cleared. It would show to the immigration body that you don't have a criminal record. But how do you get evidence to prove that you are being abused or you were abused, so you can start petitioning for yourself on the VAWA? How does that work? Do I call the police?
That's a very good question. A lot of people that are in abusive situation, they won't have a lot of evidence. Normally, the most they'll have is whatever they can grab before they get rid of the abuser. And that's why it's important for you have an attorney too, so that you can have a safe mailing address, because a lot of times if people do leave, they end up in shelters and so forth. And if anything, you don't want your immigration documents going there, so it's good to have an attorney. Now, a lot of times people will be able to probably show their own immigration document, whatever they can remember, especially if it's a case where petitions have been filed before, and that attorney may be able to get those documents from immigration through a FOIA request. And then one of the most important supporting documents is actually the declaration that would be written by the client. And in that declaration, that's where you can put a lot of things, like you don't have the documents, this is how long you've been living with the person. And there are a number of things that you can get to prove your case. It's just important to really sit down and think about what you have. Like, I've had cases where the client didn't have anything, and we had to reach out to neighbors, and neighbors would hear her husband beating on her, and they provided letters to support her. You have pastors, counselors that these people have spoken to, and we've reached out. And normally, I mean, you're not going to tell everybody your business, but normally you explain what's going on, people will try to help you. Sometimes if it's a case where you did have a wedding and there was a wedding dress involved and so forth, you may be able to go back to those stores, get certain receipts. If like pictures were taken, you may be able to get those pictures. The same thing, like if you're the person who you have a best friend, you have somebody back home, and you're always talking to those people about what's going on in your relationship, then they may be able to provide certain documents for you as well. So it's really sitting down and talking to the attorney and coming up with the evidence. And the officers are trained where they know that as an abuse victim, you won't have all the evidence that you need, because sometimes you're really running for your life, so you won't have everything. And that gets me to my second point, which is proving your case and submitting the documents. So a lot of times, what's included would be like the declaration, the police clearance record, and some people may say like, hey, I don't even have documents. How is it that I'm going to get a police record? That's a record. The fact that they have nothing in the system on you, and normally you have to show records for 3 years. So if you've been in the country for only 3 weeks, or say 3 months, and say you're from Jamaica, you may have to get some sort of documentation from the police in Jamaica to show that you've been a good citizen, which shows your good, shows your good moral character. And then you show the 3 weeks period that wherever you've been in the United States, you show that you don't have a record there. And then if you have copies of your passport or birth certificate, which you should be able to get since you're a foreign national, also proof that you've lived with the abuser, and this could be through leasing office, bills, cell phone companies, neighbors, family, friends, proof that you've suffered the abuse. Like a lot of people think it's only about going to the hospital or somebody going to jail. That's not the case, because like I said before, the name is actually misleading, because when it says violence, a lot of people think about physical acts. They don't really think about the mental abuse that's also involved when it comes to domestic violence cases. And because of that, they don't think that they have enough evidence to even file a petition, but you may have enough evidence, and you have to currently live in the United States, and that's something that you also will have to prove. Now, I know that Tiffany briefly mentioned divorce. I just want to say this though. You don't have to be divorced, because a lot of times, and I think this goes to a lot of believers, where you would really want to work out your marriage, and there is nothing wrong with that. But how it is that you you probably don't have to get a divorce. Maybe it's the case where you're just separated for a while. And even if you're still legally married to that person, you can go ahead and file the petition. And if it's a case where you're gonna get the divorce, you probably put it through and you're still, well, you can do both at the same time. And as bad as this sounds, it's probably good for your case, because the fact that you're the fact that you're able to the fact that you're able to get to show that there is marital problem, that's actually proof that you're in a valid marriage. So a lot of time I'll tell people to look into that kind of stuff. So Tiffany, I want you to go ahead and tell them about the different options that you do have, just in case a divorce is what you're thinking about.
Well, you have a simplified divorce, which is in the state of Florida, since I practice there. It's like if you don't have any minor children or property together, if the person's not pregnant, and there's nothing really in between you guys, and you can get a simplified divorce, which is really simple, to the point, and usually approved within a few months because both are in agreement. And then you have the regular divorce, where it's either uncontested or contested. And contested means like you both don't agree, so it's going to be like a fight to the end. And uncontested is if you guys do agree and there's a settlement agreement, even with the children and the child care and the child support, that everything is just an agreement to it all. But it just depends on your situation and which one would be appropriate between you and your spouse to say the kind of divorce. Because a lot of times, especially with contested divorces, I see communication may be an issue, where I think that's why getting, like Attorney Lauren said, getting an attorney involved may be the best bet, because sometimes people are saying the same things, and it's not really being crossed, I guess, against each other, because they're just not understanding each other, communicating properly, and an attorney in the middle can kind of give leeway between the two. And I do believe, like, even with injunctions, you need to get the proper evidence needed to be able to get an injunction from a judge. So I do agree that you should contact or even speak to an attorney, like even getting an injunction, because that's, all the evidence that you may not think is appropriate could be appropriate in the courtroom. Attorney Lawrence.
Wow. She's taking a little break right now. Okay, so you can actually, let me see if I can ask you this, although this is the immigration part of it. If you can't answer it when she comes back, then she will. But let me get myself back up here. I'm here kind of thinking, based on what she said, it doesn't always have to be physical. It can be emotional as well. So
yeah. Even with injunctions too, it doesn't have to be physical. I've seen emotional, psychological, and a lot of times it's not physical. You'd be surprised, like, there's people being demeaned and like being called things to the point of depression or suicidal thoughts and things like that. And they have like evidence from a psychologist and people that they've spoken to, and they're able to get an injunction. So it doesn't always have to be physical. I think, like she said, when people hear violence, we think just punching them or hitting them, but it's not always that case.
Okay. All right. So she's back, and Attorney Lawrence, I wanted to ask you a question. You being from Jamaica, I don't think, Tiffany, you're not Jamaican, are you?
My parents are.
Okay, so you don't understand. So let me throw this out to both of you. So you got a marriage going on, and every day the man gets up and calls you a dirty drunk girl. I mean, for Jamaica, for Jamaicans, we know that's not anything nice. What does that mean to the United States of America? They don't have a clue what a drunk girl is. Could you file based on that?
I mean, that is abuse. You just have to ensure that you... No, this is abuse.
That is abuse.
You just have to ensure that you explain it properly, because uh imagine like your spouse waking up every day, oh, you dirty drunk girl. That
Yes.
is mentally abusive. So
Mm-hmm.
you just have to explain it properly, like give an analogy, and the officer should be able to pick up what you're saying. And a lot of times, like, I've never um, done a VAWA case where I don't include some sort of mental health evaluation,
Oh.
because a lot of times clients may not even want to give you the full 100 with what's going on. But
Oh.
when they talk to like a psychologist, they'll really break it down, and that psychologist will be able to make a determination. And I mean, they're more qualified to make that determination than I am. I can only get the facts and put the facts to what I know domestic violence or abuse is, but a psychology can make that assessment, and they will be more credible than I am. So, yeah, that's a good example. And unfortunately, it's like that for a lot of people, where
Mm-hmm.
they're called names. Like, you just have a baby and this person wake up and call you a fat elephant. Like, I've heard
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where to this day, the young lady still remembers it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the man constantly called her a fat elephant right
Wow.
after she had the baby.
Mm.
So you look at it, and there are different types of abuse. I think Tiffany mentioned it, where even with finances, like, they tell you you can't work, you can't do the work, so you're so financially dependent on this person, you can't make a move. You have it where they may threaten to take away your kids. So if you came in the country without inspection, or you've overstayed your visa, and you know that you could be in run-ins with immigration, they tell you like, oh, I'm going to report you to ICE, I'm going to call immigration, I'm going to take your documents, I'm going down to the police station right now. And I think that's one of the biggest fears for a lot of foreign nationals, where the spouse tell them that, and then when they also say something like, I'm gonna take away the child. No parents wants to hear that. And a lot of people may look at it and say, oh, that's not abuse. It is abuse. It is abuse. So you just have to look into the different situation. And like I said, this happens to both males and females.
Okay. All right. And that the VAWA is only for married people. It doesn't apply to boyfriend, girlfriend, the whole dating thing, right? No, it's just married people.
Yeah, the visas we spoke about before, the U visa and the T visa, as it relates to violence, or victims of violence, then those would apply if it's a boyfriend girlfriend situation. But VAWA would apply to only married folks, if you're the parent of a U.S. citizen, or a child of a U.S. citizen, or lawful permanent resident.
All right.
Yeah.
How long does it take for VAWA to be approved, if you want to get into that? I know it's case by case.
It can take a while, and but the good thing with it is that in the meantime, when it's filed,
Mm-hmm.
you're placed in a deferred status, and that's similar to the DACA, where
Oh.
you won't be placed in immigration proceedings for removal at that time. So
Okay.
it's almost like it puts a stop to anything that they would have done. And then in the process, you can also get a work permit and a travel authorization. So
What?
you're really getting, yeah.
Wait,
So you're
stop right
really
there.
getting the benefits before you even get your green card. So that's one good thing with VAWA.
While you're being processed, while you're filing
Yeah.
VAWA, you can actually get travel documents.
Yeah, and especially if it's to, say for instance, you're doing it based on abuse by a U.S. citizen spouse,
Mm-hmm.
you go ahead and you file everything just like you would in the typical adjustment of status concurrent package.
Okay, so you file everything,
Yeah,
the adjustment of status and work permit and all of that. But
yeah,
but you can also qualify Or actually, that's a benefit that they give to you. Eliu, come on. I'm trying to make a point here, attorney. Don't let me have to get attorney Lawrence or Coleman on my case, all right? You going to be nice this evening? Thank you, sweetie. All right. Auntie loves you too. So, you're saying that for the folks who are applying on the VAWA, they can have a chance to travel? Does it have to be for only like deaths, or they can just get up and buy a ticket and leave and come
No,
back?
there's no restriction. As long as they have that authorization and for whatever period, just like with a regular travel authorization, they can travel.
Okay. That's nice to know. All right. So they don't have to be on the run. All right. It is 7 o'clock. The program goes on till 8 o'clock. Can we just take a break right here, attorneys? Is that okay with you both? All right. Okay. The program is The Law and You, hosted by attorney Georgia Lawrence. She is right here in the Georgia area. And this evening our guest is attorney Tiffany Coleman. She is into family law, while attorney Lawrence is in immigration law. And so they have come together this evening to help us understand VAWA better. That is the Violence Against Women Act. And I learned that you men, that if you have women that are violent with you, then you can use this VAWA. You know, you can use it and you can apply as well. We'll be right back right after this. Don't you go anywhere.
Dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.
I specifically put on this song because I know, and I have others. Got another one talking about a Bayesian. It's coming up. We love our islands, especially us Jamaicans and the native of the Caribbean. Yes, we do. But what do we do when we go abroad looking for a better life? And life is unkind to us. What do? We have attorneys Georgia Lawrence and Tiffany Coleman here this evening inside the program, The Law and You, to tell you what to do when things don't work out the way you thought it would work. Instead of going back to your land of your birth, there's a way that you can stay here. Did you know that? They'll be right back. Comes a time when you don't want to stay. Where is your land? The place that's your land of your birth. Nadine, good evening to you, cuz over in Canada. This is Jamaica, my Jamaica, the land of my birth. But some of us, we don't want to go back right now. We come up firing to make things better. And what do you do when it turns violent? Again, we have attorney Georgia Lawrence here with us and attorney Tiffany Coleman. Tiffany is on the family law side and Georgia is on the immigration side. And here they come again, our pretty ladies this evening, telling us what to do when we leave the land of our birth and come to a strange place like the United States of America and things no work out how we did plan. You come and the man abusive to you or the woman abusive to you. Lord, they get up every day and call you dirty drunk girl. And somebody got, you're laughing, attorney. I see you laughing. Let me see if I can get you both over here. I'm telling you, abuse is not always physical. And you said
it's true.
You said it so well. Now, here goes a question for maybe both of you or just you, attorney Lawrence. But Norma is in Texas. Good evening to you, Norma. And Norma says, so are those threats. So are those threats not mental abuse? Referring to the man threatening to report you to immigration and take away your picnic. So the man gets up and is threatening that he's going to report you to immigration and take away that child. Is that abuse?
Yes.
It's abuse.
Yes.
Okay.
That's definitely abuse. Now we see that a lot, for both males and females. And a lot of people get scared because normally they're the ones with an immigration situation, so they feel like they have no way out. So they stay, sometimes they beg. If they're working, they probably pay that person money to just keep things on the hush, not knowing that they have certain rights. And see, that's what we are for, like, out here trying to educate the community. And that's why I tell people, like, even if it doesn't apply to you, go ahead and share these videos. Tell somebody, like, you never know who you are helping. And see, a lot of people, they go through things and they just don't say anything, but they need this information. So share the video, tell somebody you've heard about this thing called VAW, what may be able to help them. You never know what you'll be doing for somebody. So yeah, you getting called dirty drunker every day, that's abuse. Somebody saying I'm gonna take away the child, that's abuse. Telling you about your immigration situation and they're gonna report you, that's abuse.
So there are people who are scared, attorney. I would be scared if my spouse says he's going to call the call immigration on me. The last person I would want to call to report this is the police, right? Because I'm already scared, and I believe that the police is going to take me in. So who do I go to in that case? If I go to an attorney, what do I do?
I mean, some people, they don't go to an attorney because they're thinking about the money. And you do have pro bono attorneys out here who are willing to take on the case, or attorneys who are willing to take on these cases at a reduced rate. Because if you really have, I know we all have to work for money, we have families to feed and stuff, but if you have any kind of conscience, when somebody comes to you, you can see clearly that they're in some sort of danger. As an attorney, I honestly think that you have a civic duty to help this person out once you can, or to find some form of referral for this person. You have tons of organizations out here, non-profit organization, like Tiffany says, she's a legal aid attorney. And while they may not focus on immigration law, you have different organizations who are able to help, or able to refer you to a group that will be willing to help you. You have shelters out here who are willing to take in people. And some people, again, may think that shelters are only for females. No, you do have males going to shelters too. And a lot of these police departments, they're trained to deal with these victims, so they know it's not a case where you're going to lock them up. You're going to refer them to whatever they call them, advocates. So you have different advocates that partner with these police agencies, and they'll walk you through the steps and they'll help you find an attorney. But sometimes it means talking out. And I know it's not easy, because clients that I deal with, a lot of times I even have to give them time to write their declaration, because it's so hard reliving abuse, and I don't think you can fully understand it unless you yourself have been in certain situations before.
All right, there's some people who still believe that VAWA expired in February of 2019, but we're
No,
here talking about
you
it still.
you did have talks of expiring, and like I said, a lot of these things are political and based on the administration, so you will have ups and downs and everything, but VAWA is still in place. And if you are someone you know qualified, then I would suggest that you go ahead and getting it handled right now.
All right, so for those who are coming in just now, the qualifications for VAWA again must be a battered spouse, or did you want to run down the list again for those who are just coming in?
Yeah, and I have 3 questions here too. So let
Go
me go.
ahead.
I'm going to talk about eligibility and go through the question. So one of the question over here is, what if I remarry? So if you remarry before the approval of the VAWA petition, it will be denied. So do not
Remarry.
get yourself another ring. I know you like diamonds, but don't get yourself another ring. Wait, you can get remarried after the approval of your VAWA. Then I have, can I still file for VAWA relief if my abusive spouse files an I-130 on my behalf? That is pending. Yes. That is called a transfer. So in that case, what happened is that the priority date that was on that I-130 will now switch to your I-360 VAWA petition. So basically, you'll have the same place in line. And this is the case for a lot of spouses, because normally the spouse that's helping you to get the immigration benefit will start acting up as soon as you put in the paper. Maybe they feel certain like you're going to leave or something, so they'll start acting up. But once you notify USCIS, then they will transfer the priority date, so you'll have the same place in line.
Attorney,
And
before
then-
you go to the next point, I have a caller online. Can we take that caller, or you prefer to finish up? What do
Yeah,
you
go
want?
ahead and take the caller.
All right, let me. All right, why am I getting that feedback? Good evening, you're live on the air. Good evening, caller.
Yes, I'm calling from Maryland.
All right, one moment, please. Attorney Lawrence and Attorney Coleman, can you hear the caller? You can hear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, she says, Attorney Lawrence says she can hear, so, all right, go right ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm getting a feedback. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so terrible. Could I call back another time then?
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead. We're hearing you. Go right ahead.
Yes. I have a situation where I'm looking about a divorce, and I give my lawyer some money, but he pushing my case. I'm in a British situation, a delicate situation, you want to call it. So I want to know, we ain't got no kids, no ties. I mean, I take this woman here, she and I 2 kids together, and 73, so she gave me a hard time.
All right, let me see if our family law attorney or immigration, because this sounds like a bit of both. Immigration, you brought her here, and going through a divorce. Attorneys, Coleman and Lawrence, did you hear what he said?
Go ahead and repeat the question for us, please.
Go ahead, sir.
I bring you the wife here and 2 kids. They don't belong to me. And she giving me a hard time. She gave me laptop for things I don't have. I mean, she me abuse her, but I didn't abuse her. But she wanna go about get out of the house and go about her business so. And she try to get at me to get some money or what have you. Because it's all about she coming about some money. Because she been here only 2 years now, and she's 1 year since she come.
All right, so did you get that, attorney? He's married.
Yes, I have right attorney, yeah.
Yeah. All right, you hold on for me, sir.
It's a year now, and he hasn't done anything.
All right, so hold on 1 minute there, sir. Hold on. So Attorney Lawrence and Attorney Coleman, he's married. He brought this woman from Jamaica. I think you probably are going to need to talk to him off air, but I just wanted to relay what he said to you. He brought the woman from Jamaica. I think he said Jamaica. She came with 2 children, and she's been making false claims. That's what he says. She's gotten him locked up, and that was going to be one of my questions later. What about false claims, just to get paperwork? But he said that she's made false claims, got him arrested, all of that. He has an attorney. It's more than a year now, and nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So he's in dire need right now. So he's asking, what should he do? You have something blanket you want to say to him, or you prefer for him to get in touch with you?
I would prefer, like, if I talk to him off air, but just generally, yeah, you do have some liar, wicked people out there, and they will make claims that they have been abused because they understand what it is. But see, a good attorney will catch them in the lie. And you'll know one thing, where if you come to me and I find out that you're lying to me, you just have to go. Like, I'm not on that case. So right here, it sounds like this will be a criminal/family law case, since I believe he's a U.S. citizen or the lawful permanent spouse. But I'll be happy to explore that in more detail. So you can just give us a call off air, and we'll talk some more about that. But unfortunately, you do have people who are out here making false claims in order to get an immigration benefit.
I don't have no need to do that, man.
Attorney Lawrence, where do you want him to call you? Do you want him to reach out via email, or you want him to call back here, off air? What do you want?
Yes, go ahead and
I'll take his number. Do you want me to take his number and you reach out to him?
Take the number. That's fine.
All right. So I'll take. Thank you so much, sir, for calling. Don't go. Hold the line. I'm going to take your number, pass it on to the attorney, and then you can deal with her one-on-one. And the beauty about this, I like, immigration is federal, as Attorney Lawrence tells us, so she can practice in any of the 50 United States of America. So you're in good company, all right? So hold the line. Don't you go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, can I just take a song there, attorney? Is that okay with you? All right, so I played something from Jamaica, so it's only fair. We're not the only ones in this. What happened to my Bajan brothers and sisters? Here we go. Hold the line, sir.
Yeah. Barbados, boy, won't give it up for the world. Nothing like coming home to the rock, boy, for real. Come on, let's go. Gem of the Caribbean Sea, one nothing with me. I am a Bajan, I'm a Bajan, yeah. 166 square miles of pure love, pure smile. I am a Bajan, yeah. jump up and down and sing it. Come on. Gem of the Caribbean Sea, one nothing with we. I am a Bajan. I'm a Bajan.
To all my Bajan peeps out there tonight, I'm a Bajan, of course. Got Bajan blood running through my vein. My great grandma is Bajan. Want to welcome each and every one to the program. Snap my call. Good evening to you, Marcia Robinson. Nadine Wignall, good evening to you. All right, we all love our land. Velma Strong, good evening to you. Here, Norma says, goodness, imagine living with that kind of condition, immigration status, day in, day out. So much stress and uneasy living. Want to welcome those who are with me on Facebook. Good evening to you. Want to welcome Althea Wind Palmer. And the number is running under the ticker, Althea. The number is running under the ticker, our calling number. It's right there. If you're watching us on Facebook, you should be able to see the video because our video, I'm actually watching it on Facebook and the video is there. And our numbers are running underneath the video. So the numbers are there, all right? And we're asking you, if you can, don't use the WhatsApp number. Because if you call in on WhatsApp, they're not going to be able to hear you. So if you can do the straight number, which is 404-647-1706, that would be so much better for us this evening. Again, let me say hello to Willa Gist Wilson. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fagan Smith, good evening to you. Jeanette Roach, good evening. Tila the Queen Williams, good evening. Marie Beckford and Juliet Dennis Fraser, good evening to you. Evelyn Butler, Beast Michael, Spiwe, and Alana Tom, good evening to you guys. Want to welcome Rory Winter, my cousin Veronica Gale, my cousins Veronica Gale and Nadine Wignall. Good evening to you, Victorine Grant. I'm George, I'm sorry. Marcel Spain, Marcia Dawson, Sister Dacia James, good evening, and Jyrene George, and Marcia Robinson. Again, we want to say thank you so much to our attorneys. We go up until the 8 o'clock hour. It is 23 minutes after 7. I want to say thanks to that to that caller for calling in. Just know that you guys can call in and talk to us. Some people are facing some real problems out there, man. We want to welcome you to the Law and You discussion on immigration matters. From our studios here at Caribbean Gospel Radio FM in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Dr. Monica. I'm the co-host on the program. Of course, here's our beautiful host. She is none other than Attorney Georgia Lawrence. She practices here in Georgia. Like her name, she had to come here, you know. And of course, I'm not sure if we still have our family lawyer online, but that's her colleague who is here. Yes, Attorney Tiffany Cole. So they're here, and over to you, Attorney, whenever you're ready. We're ready to. And I have that information for you.
Thank you. So, we're not going to run out of time before we finish up. So, I just want to go over real quick some of the misconceptions surrounding VAWA and encourage you if you're in a situation and you think this might help, come forward or contact any immigration attorney and try to get some help. Or if you know someone who may be in a situation, just encourage them to come forward. I mean, a lot of times when people are in abusive situation, they themselves, they won't see it as an abusive situation, so you may not be able to basically use certain terminologies with them. But if you can say like, hey, I don't think that's right, you probably need to report this, or you probably should reach out to an attorney or try to get some help. Do what you have and try to encourage someone. And when I finish, Tiffany is going to read a story slash testimonial from a client, just for you to hear the kind of people that we as immigration attorneys um, generally deal with. So the first misconception that tonight, if you didn't get anything from all we say tonight, I want you to remember these things. One, when it comes to VAWA, a lot of people think that the abuse must be physical. That's not true. When it comes to domestic violence or abuse where you have kids and parents involved, it can also be mental, and a lot of times it's mostly mental. The other thing is only women qualify for VAWA. I know it says Violence Against Women Act, and I really think they need to change the name, but
Yes.
it is against men too. And I'm encourage all men, if this applies to you or another brother that you know, come forward and get some help. And then there must be a police report. Yes, police reports often is good as the evidence is strong, and in terms of showing battery or extreme cruelty, but it is not a must. If the police wasn't called, you won't have a police report. So don't let that be the reason why you don't come forward with your case. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that immigration will contact your abuser. No. By law, the officers know they are not supposed to contact your abuser, and that's why one of the first questions on the form is they'll ask you what mailing address, what's a safe mailing address for them to use. And that's why it's so important too that you have an attorney on the case, because as attorneys we normally submit the G28 form. Basically it's a designation of representation form, and on that form we have the option of electing for us to receive whatever notice you may be getting from USCIS. So that way we'll know what is going on with your case, and your abuser will never have to know that you're filing the petition or what documents you have coming in. And then you must be married to the abuser. No, you can still be married while you're filing the petition, but you qualify as long as you file within 2 years of divorcing that abuser, if you go the route of divorcing. And I'm not advocating divorce. I'm all for trying to work out your marriage. But if that's your choice, then you have 2 years to come forward and file for it. You'll just have to prove that that marriage was in fact valid and it wasn't just for immigration benefits. And again, an attorney can help you get this package real right to prove your case. So,
all right, attorney.
Those are the 5 biggest misconceptions that I've seen surrounding VAWA. And if that's what you thought, then I just want that you to get that out your head tonight and walk away being more knowledgeable about this vehicle towards getting permanent residency. Again, it may not apply to you, but it may apply to someone that you know. So share and tell a friend to tell a friend.
All right. Well, we have, just before you come in, Tiffany, I have a caller online.
Okay.
So let's get to this caller. Caller, good night. You're live on the air.
Yes. What about the person who come up on a visiting visa overseas and don't get married? How could that person get themselves started?
All right. Did you hear that, Attorney Lawrence? Okay. She's asking, how about a person who enters the country on a visitor's visa and they did not get married, right, caller?
Right, yes.
They did not get married, so she's asking how can that person get themselves sorted out? That sounds like a different...
I would need more details, but if that's based on being a victim of crime, then this person may be eligible for other visa like the U visa or the T visa. But if you weren't married and you're asking this question based on like somebody who you've been in a relationship with, VAWA wouldn't apply unless you're married to that person. But there may be other visas that you qualify for, and I'll need more information. So send us an email, georgialaw21 at gmail.com, or leave your information with Dr. Monica, or you can go onto our website or Facebook page. We have somebody responding on the Facebook page as we speak, and we'll get your information, set up a consultation, and we can talk some more about it.
Can I
All
leave
right.
my number?
Sorry, you wanted to leave your number with us?
Yes, yes.
All right, I will go ahead and take that off air, all right? So over
Right.
to you, attorney, while I get her number. All right, hold the line, don't go. Over to you, attorney, go ahead.
On it, Coleman.
Okay, I'm gonna read the letter from the client, Miss Attorney Lawrence's firm. My story is common than we'd like to think. I, like many other women, consider myself to be intelligent, strong, and independent. I saw myself as a princess in a fairy tale, having finally found my happily ever after. However, when your self-esteem is at its lowest, happily ever after isn't all that it's cracked up to be. For me, happiness was having found someone, anyone, who would love and accept me. For many years, I thought that my abuser's actions were my fault. I couldn't see myself living without him, and and so his controlling and dangerous behavior was something I had learned to accept. In retrospect, I know that I did not choose that abusive relationship, but at that time I believed it was all my fault. Everything was great between my ex and I. We were in love, we were happy, but then suddenly we weren't. I cannot pinpoint the exact moment that my fairy tale turned into a horror movie, that holding hands turned into sprained and bruised wrists, that going out as a couple turned into me being isolated and home alone for days at a time, that laughing turned into crying. Everything was always my fault, and because my self esteem was so low, I believed it. One day he pointed a gun at me after I'd found his hidden stash of rifles. My ex had convinced me that if I hadn't been snooping around in my own house, he wouldn't have aimed a gun at me. Every time I mustered up the strength to leave, my ex would convince me that immigration would be on my heels. He had me believe that there was no help for people like me, abused and undocumented, and I believed him. When I first met my ex, I considered myself to be smart, strong, and an independent woman. It seemed as if he had taken those things from me. Many years passed before I self-identified as a victim of domestic violence. But one day I did, and I found the courage to leave. My ex stole everything that belonged to me, leaving me with just the clothes on my back. There was a period after leaving him that I still had my doubts. What if I was making the wrong decision? I thought. Maybe he didn't actually mean to hurt me, and it was really just my fault. I invested I invented excuses to justify his behavior. Victims of domestic violence often remain in abusive relationships out of shame. I recently learned that number one driving force for those leaving abusive relationships is knowing that there is no legal help. I found a friend who I could confide in. I ended up sleeping on her couch and having to quit my job. My ex would continue to threaten me for quite some time. He would call, text, and even email me. I thought about going back, but I refused to become a victim once again. I found Human Rights Initiative, an organization that helped me to guide me on what to do with my legal case, but also one that listened to my story without judgment. I was so embarrassed to share my story, but they reminded me that I was no longer a victim. Instead, I was now a victor. I received legal relief through the VAWA Act, and they helped me find my voice. It's been nearly a decade since I left my abusive relationship. It's so hard to let go of the fear, depression, and hatred I held on to. I'm not perfect on some days. It's still a struggle, but I've decided that both myself and the world deserve the best version of me that I can give.
thank you. And that's a public story about VAWA and its success. And I just share that to encourage someone like, don't be afraid to come forward. A lot of people are going through abusive situations, and a lot of times it's out of shame why they don't come forward. And to just leave this quote by Toni Morrison that says, freeing yourself was one thing, claiming ownership of that right self was another. And hopefully this will bless someone tonight, and hopefully you won't just keep this information to yourself, but you'll go out and you'll be a blessing to others by sharing this video, passing on our information, or just telling someone about what you learned tonight.
All right. Thank you so much again. You're listening in. If you're just coming in, you're listening in to our legal program, The Law and You. And tonight we're blessed with not just one attorney, but two, practicing in different areas. And what a collaboration tonight, because Attorney Lawrence, who is the host of the program, she has been talking about VAWA. If you can remember, the last time, which was last year, she spoke about being a victim of crime and how you can get your papers or whatever through that, being a victim of crime. I forgot what visa that was. T something.
Yeah, it was a U visa and the T visa, trafficking and victim of violence.
Okay, so the U and the T. And so tonight she's here. She's talking about VAWA. And, of course, we hear it. It's not, I wish they would call it VASA, Violence Against Spouse Act, instead of Violence Against Women. Because it kind of lead you off into a path to think that this is only for women. But as both attorneys spoke tonight, we realized that men, you too, are being protected under this act. So if you are a victim of domestic violence, please come forward. Don't think that. And there was a story. I'm not sure. You probably have heard about it. I think it was just a couple years ago, not in the too distant past, where there was this Jamaican man who came to America right here in Georgia, and his wife treated him so badly because he didn't have his paperwork. He was married to an American woman, and she just treated him like a dog. And you know how our guys from Jamaica, their ego, is very, very high. And she starved him. I mean, a lot of stuff. It was in the news. And she kind of held him hostage. Not kind of. She actually held him hostage because of that whole green card thing. I don't remember what the ending of the story was. But we have people who come here from not just Jamaica, but from different islands. And that's the same thing that they're going through. And I wanted to talk about false claims, because people know that this is out there, then they lie on their spouses. As we heard the gentleman said earlier on, that's his testimony. There are three sides to a story: your side, my side, and the truth. Okay? So what do you do for those that are listening in? I've seen police come and in this country, because we know that most times, and let me be fair now, most times we as women, we know that, when the police shows up, he's going to tell the man to leave. And so we do it knowing that the spouse didn't really hurt us that bad, or, well, let me not say that bad. The spouse didn't hurt us, but maybe we're just upset with that person, and so we call the police in. Or we got somebody else that we want to go be with. Because when you get your papers based on the Violence Against Women Act, then aren't you free to marry later on, attorney?
You are. I mean, you still have to, well, when you're done with the entire process, you are. But if it's a case where someone is lying just for the benefit and that person speaks out, trust and believe they're going to look into the allegations. And a lot of times you'll know if someone is lying. So they look into it. I've never had a case where I found out that anybody was lying. Okay. My clients they've been truthful victims for the most part. Okay. So I honestly don't know how I would deal with that. Definitely I wouldn't go forward representing that person. I would withdraw from the case. But You do have it happening at night. What happened? Hello?
You shifted a little bit.
Oh, yeah, especially like you're right, where females, a lot of times you'll hear them say like, oh, if I call the police, you're going to jail
Yes.
or you're gonna be screwed up. So they will
Yeah.
do things like that, and it's unfortunate, but you can't control everyone's action.
All right. So with 20 more minutes to go inside the program, I wanted to ask, can VAWA be denied? Some folks don't want to start a process where, if it's denied by immigration, then they're facing deportation. So some people just prefer to just hide out in the country. Can VAWA be denied? What do you think about that?
Yes, it can, most definitely. And
Okay.
that's why it's so important that you prove your case because you're a self petitioner,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you are going before USCIS and saying, I deserve this benefit based on what happened to me. So the burden is on you to prove that case. And a lot of times, because of your situation, you may not have a lot of documentation. And see, that's why it's important again to consult with an attorney who may have knowledge and know, like, okay, if you don't have this, you can still use this, or you may be able to get this kind of evidence. A lot of times, people just listen to what friends or families tell them based on what they've heard
Mm-hmm.
or probably what they have read, and it won't go good. So it's best you just try to get the help that you need, put your package together, and once you have been a victim and your application is filled out properly, you do have your supporting documentation. I don't see any reason for it to be denied. And even if you're working with an attorney and it gets denied, there are ways around that because truthfully, sometimes even these officers themselves may not know the law that well. But see, as an attorney, that's your job to figure it out. So you may be able to submit some sort of legal memo, like breaking things down. Like I've never submitted a VAWA application without getting into the law and applying my client's facts to that case. So
Mm-hmm.
you call it the prima facie case, meaning you're proving the case
Case.
on its face.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the particular elements of the law and you plug in the specific facts of the client's case to
Mm-hmm.
those elements. So once the officer sees that, the officer will be able to make a determination based on that. So once it's a lot of times people get denied when it comes to immigration because of how their stuff is packaged, where the evidence is all over the place, it's out of order, no sort of explanation as to what's going on, so they get denied or request for more evidence.
Yeah, because they don't have time to be looking all over documents for whatever. So that's why it's really good to use someone who knows about it. And in this case, it would be an immigration attorney. And that's what you are there for, and Georgia Lawrence LLC. The cost factor of filing VAWA. You want to speak to that? Is there a cost? How much?
Oh, how could I forget that? It is absolutely free.
Free? Like F R E
All
E?
the last three visa that I spoke about relating to crime,
Uh huh.
they're all free. And think about it from a policy standpoint. These people, they're victims of crime. So it's like they're in somebody's country, quote unquote, and something happens. So for them speaking up, coming forward, the least the country can do is offer them some sort of immigration benefit. So to file for VAWA, there isn't an application fee involved.
Oh, that's nice. So no
Yeah,
application
and
fee.
the what is it called again? I-944 Declaration of Self-Sufficiency. So when you talk about like the public charge, a lot of people heard about the public charge and they were
Mhm.
freaking out about it.
Mhm.
It doesn't apply to VAWA. So it's not a case where they're holding you to any standard to be able to take care of yourself, which is great.
So you
Because
don't
for
need.
most other applications, they will look into that kind of thing. But for VAWA, that's not the case.
Oh, so you don't need like a sponsorship. You don't need to show how much money you make and all that.
None of that.
Oh, wow.
None of
Wow.
that.
Wow. Okay. But
Yeah.
there might be a cost if they use an attorney, you think?
Pardon me?
There might be a cost if they use an attorney just for the
Yes,
attorney
and the
services?
attorney's fee may vary. For these cases, though, a lot of times, because of the nature of the cases, attorney will do it on a reduced basis. They may have like payment plan or some sort of arrangements, or you may be able to find a pro bono attorney who will take up the case. But the only fee I believe that would be involved would be the attorney fee.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening in this evening. Attorneys Georgia Lawrence and Tiffany Coleman, they're here talking about the Violence Against Women Act and men. That includes you too. If you notice, it says Violence Against Men. Okay? So WO for us and MEN for you. So so it includes us. If they had just said men, we would have been left out. So whoever coined this, they put woman. So you're in it too, okay? So you are protected as well. Get yourself an attorney. Reach on out to attorney Georgia Lawrence at, let me just put this right here on the screen so the folks can actually see what we're talking about. You can email her, all right? So here we go. Georgia Law 21 at gmail.com. She's here this evening with a few more minutes to go inside the program. Feel free to call us at 404-647-1706. What she's giving or what the attorneys are giving this evening is general information. They will have to know more about your specific case to give you specific information about your case, all right? Because it's not like one size fits all. But where else could you go to get this information? You're here. And they are wonderful attorneys. Reach on out to them and talk to them about your situation. I want you to know that attorney Tiffany Cole, she's into family law. So you know what that is if you are going through a divorce, separation, anything that has to do with the family. You can reach on out to her in regards to that through attorney Georgia Lawrence. And then attorney Georgia Lawrence, she does civil rights and immigration. So if you're going through a divorce because your husband called you drunk every morning and you don't have your green card yet, you're going to need to talk to attorney Tiffany Cole about the divorce part, and then you're going to need to talk to attorney Lawrence about the drunker part, okay? So they come together as a package. But they're here this evening. These beautiful ladies are here. So if you got any question, guys, as we're making it down to the top of the hour, making it up to the top of the hour to get on out of here, now is the time for you to go ahead, call this number 404-647-1706. If you're listening in on Facebook, you got to ask your questions on Facebook or ask your questions on YouTube. Let them answer you. Again, immigration is a federal matter, and so she is qualified to serve you in any of the 50 states of the United States of America. Over to you, attorney.
Thank you, Dr. Monica. And Tiffany, thank you very much for joining me. I really enjoy having you. One thing I can say about Tiffany is like she's extremely reliable. Like whenever I call on her to do something, as long as it involves helping, she's always there. So I really appreciate you, ma'am.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the show. I really like that you guys are doing this. This is awesome, giving people some legal knowledge. I always believe in education. Education is so important.
Why am I not seeing her?
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Dr. Monica. As always, you're doing great with putting different things out there for people.
That's right.
Somebody come get him.
That's
For
right.
people. Yeah.
All right. So we learned a lot this evening about VAWA, and I know folks might not want to call in because their voices, people might recognize their voice. And there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on. You call in trying to get some help. Somebody hear you. I had somebody on the program one week, and this person was just telling us about how abused she was. And would you believe it? That somebody heard her story here, called her family member back in that country, and told that family member, her stepmom, how she was on air berating the family and all kinds of stuff. So you have people out there that are listening in this evening, and we know that you need help. But, we know you don't want to get in any problem. So please go ahead and email attorney Georgia Lawrence, and she'll just take it from there. And we still have a few more minutes to go. If you want to call in, go ahead and call in. Again, the documents that you need for VAWA for this kind of filing. I think you had said that. He wants his mommy. I think you have mentioned that you need evidence of your status. You need proof of relationship and good faith marriage. You need proof of residence with the abuser. You got to show time that you live with the abuser and your current residence in the United States of America. And you also need proof of good moral character. So if people know you as a man abuser, that's going to go against you. You got some kind of police record back home. That seems like it's going to go against you, right, attorney? Because you have...
Yes. So don't think that you can be a bad person in your country and then you come to the United States and you're going to say, oh, you're a good person. Because a lot of times they look for 3 years worth of reports, so you may have to get that, like some form of police certification from your home country.
Okay. And the work permit, as with other stuff, when you apply for VAWA, you can apply for the work permit at the same time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
if you're filing everything as one, you do it at the same time.
Okay.
If not, you wait until the petition is approved, and then you could file for your work permit and your travel document.
That's a blessing because you get to file for
It
that
is.
without paying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And VAWA, we know that if you get your lawful permanent residence through marriage to a U.S. citizen or whatever, after a certain time, then you can qualify to apply for citizenship. Is it the same path that you can get on even though you filed through VAWA? You can...
Because the thing is, you're going to have a green card. And, once you pass that amount of time with your green card, you can go ahead and file for citizenship.
All right. And I
Yes,
think
sir.
my last question is, somebody's asking, can they apply for VAWA from abroad? They're not in the U.S. And is it possible for them to apply from...
You must be in the U.S. The U visa that we spoke about the last time, you can apply outside of the country. For the VAWA, you need to show the abuse here and be in the U.S.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So stay in the U.S., guys. We know it's kind of tough. You want to go back a yard, all of that. But you just got to put on a little bit of strength. And as attorney says, there are shelters out there. Or would you recommend even staying with a family member, too, if it's safe enough, right? I think Attorney Tiffany Coleman can speak to that as well, right?
Yeah, you can stay at a shelter, or if that family member is a safe home, because a lot of times they know your family and they may pop up at times. So if it's a family member that they do pop up in, then you probably don't want to stay there. But just to be safe, somewhere that, they don't know about is probably preferable than actually somewhere that they know that you're going to be at.
Okay. I got a final question. I think this is my final question. What if you're a bad girl like me? Meaning, I don't let man beat me. I take my booty and I'm going to slap you back. Okay? What if you are somebody who don't take licks, but you fight back? Okay? No, I don't have a problem. I've never had a man who wants to beat me. All right? I'm just saying that. That's just me. I don't take licks. So what if in this case you're married and the spouse wants to throw some punches at you and you decide to punch back? Here comes the police. Because it's an assault, now you get taken away. And maybe in this case, both of you get taken away. Now, talk to me about that. Am I still eligible to file VAWA? I mean, what happens here now?
You would have to wait until that matter is sorted out. And then if you aren't found guilty of anything, then you should have a case. But a lot of times I tell people this: you better learn to control your temper. So, especially when you know that you have different immigration things that you
Status.
got to deal with.
Yes.
Jamaicans say you have iron a fire, calm down
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
So, if it's a case where you're with somebody and you can sense like they're gonna get physical, leave the situation, because if they should punch you and you know that you're gonna retaliate, and maybe you retaliating means more injury to the person, you're gonna go to jail, and that's gonna be bad for your immigration situation. So, what you can do, you sense it early, you leave the situation. And I know people like that. Them not take no lick.
You better
But
take
guess
lick.
what? You're not taking no lick, and you're going to put yourself in a trouble.
You,
So,
you better dodge it and take licks until you can leave.
no, we're not going to tell them take no lick, no. But,
But what do you do? The lick's coming at you. And I mean, you know you got iron of fire. You know immigration. You can file on the vow or whatever. I mean, man, I'm not telling you to take the licks, but in this case, I got to say take the licks. If you want, better, you know if you run. So call the police when you get the lick. Call the police.
I mean, I know somebody now where she did reach out to me,
Uh-huh.
and she's in a situation where she's getting it. I mean,
Oh, man.
it's not up to me to put people's information out there. If
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
But she straight up told me she's staying in the situation just because she's waiting on her documents. I've encouraged her time and time again, like, you don't have to do this. You can go ahead, get the help you need. You can leave the situation. But like Tiffany said, a lot of people stay because of kids,
Yeah.
and because of the finances that's involved.
Wow. All right. I hope that we were able to help at least. At least I know you got two folks who are going to be talking to you because they have some real situation, sticky situation that you both can help them with. And this is what we do inside the Law and You. We do it to make sure that our folks are educated about the matter and that ultimately they can be helped. So I want to take this time out to say thank you again, Attorney Georgia Lawrence, for coming out every second and fourth Monday to do this for us, to do this, for giving back. And thank you for bringing on Attorney Tiffany Coleman with you this evening to address the family law portion of this VAWA thingy that we discussed earlier. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. Thanks for all that you do. And you can just take a moment or two and just give your final word for tonight.
Thank you for allowing us on this platform. And a final word would be, like, if you're in any situation, you should contact an attorney, at least somebody to just sit down with, discuss your case beforehand so that you know the types of documents you need and everything that you do need to proceed in your VAWA case, or even your injunctions or whatsoever, divorce or anything like that. Just, it takes, a couple, probably 30 minutes to have a consultation with an attorney and just see where you're at with things.
All right. Thank you so much, Attorney Tiffany Coleman. I hope this won't be your last time on the program. We enjoyed having you. And it's so funny because I was supposed to have a family law attorney, and something happened and she just could not make it in November, neither in December, and she has some family situation. And I'm hoping that we can get to have you on. I got to talk to Attorney Lawrence off here about that so you can have your own portion, because what we wanted to do was have first and third Mondays for our family law and second and fourth for immigration law. So we'll see how that can work out, You just never know. All right, and are you taking clients, Attorney Coleman?
Not at this moment.
Not at this moment. All right. Okay, thank you so much, and we look forward to hearing more from you inside the program. Attorney Lawrence.
Yeah, I second what Tiffany said, and thank you again for coming out. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to Dr. Monica or just contact us on my website, www.georgialawrence.com, or the Facebook page, Georgia Lawrence LLC. And also, if you have different immigration topics that you want to discuss, go ahead and send your suggestions to us. And if we have the time, if it's something that I know about, then definitely we can talk about it. This is not my show. This is our show. And we're just here to serve you, educate the people, and just see how best we can work together.
All right. Thank you so much, Attorney Georgia Lawrence. Until next week, same time, same place. Guys, do remember that you can always reach on out to her. You don't have to wait until she comes in. You can find her at georgialaw21@gmail.com. That's her email. And you can also find her on the website, again, which is georgialawrencellc.com. Did I get that right? georgialawrencellc.com. I think it's .com.
No, the Facebook is Georgia Lawrence LLC, but my website is georgialawrence.com.
Okay, so no LLC on the website. So the website, georgialawrence.com, and Facebook is Georgia Lawrence LLC. You can find her there. And as always, every second and fourth Monday, she's here inside the program, The Law and You, where we discuss immigration matters second and fourth Monday. Of course, that family law segment, first and third Monday, will be coming your way pretty soon. Thank you again, ladies. You have a great night.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Eliud. Let me put him back up there so the folks can see him saying bye-bye. Wait. Here we go. Bye. Bye, little man. Thank you for lending mommy to us tonight. Yes, we know. Yes.
So she just asked you to say bye-bye. Nothing.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, Attorney Lamake. God bless you. Love you lots, guys. Whatever. Okay. All that you do here for us week after week makes us stronger. And we thank you so much for that. All right. Thanks. You too. Bye-bye. Thank you so much to Attorney Tiffany Coleman and Attorney Georgia Lawrence for giving up their time to make us stronger in our knowledge in these immigration matters. Thank you, guys.
Watch me! From Jamaica to the Caribbean, from Spain
to Colombia. Hey.
Canada to the US.
It has been so nice being here with you tonight. I'm Dr. Monica. You make me stronger indeed.
Lord, you know my time.
Taking us out nice and easy. Kevin Downsall on this one, y'all.
Seasons of breakthrough, my seasons of trial.
Norma Allen, thank you so much. She says this is very informative. Sure, it'll be of great help to many. Marcia says lack of knowledge, God's people perish. Thank you, Doc, and attorneys. God bless. Thank you so much.
In you I will hide. Help me now. Never be
Oh, that's all we aim to do when we come on out here. When we open these microphones, we want to make you stronger and wiser and more knowledgeable.
I lift my spirit. Lord, I take your hand.
Those who stick and stay with us on Facebook, thank you. Those who are here with us on YouTube, thank you. At home on the World Wide Web at www.caribbeangospelradiofm.com, thank you. Tune in, thank you. Nobex Radio Online Radio Box, Radio Garden, thank you. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night. And don't you forget, fourth Monday night again for the attorneys. And I do know that she's going to be talking about fiancé visa the next time she says. Whatever immigration matter you have or family law matter, please let me know or let her know by emailing her at georgialaw21@gmail.com so that she can plan accordingly. All right? Thank you, Veronica Gale, cuz. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Simpson and your beautiful wife. Thank you, Minister Salke. Oh,
He's a keeper.
I lift my...
Como está?
Bien, gracias, hecho.
Salvador, Colombia,
Bolivia.
Venezuela. We're gonna sing the song in Espanol. You ready? Help me. Woo. Usted me hace más fuerte. Oh, oh, come on. Usted me hace más fuerte. Oh, come on. Oh, usted me hace más fuerte. Oh, gracias, Jesús. Oh, uno. Usted me hace más fuerte. Gracias, Jesús. Oh, back to Jamaica. You make me stronger. Let me see the wonderful will. Help me say, you make me stronger. Let me see the heart them go. If you know you put on the pizza, what God made you, oh, you make me stronger. Come on. Lord, you make me stronger. It's time to rejoice. Oh, God has been good. Listen, we're gonna do this in Swahili. Yeah. We're gonna go down to Mozambique, Malawi, Rwanda, Burundi, Zambia. We're gonna do this in Swahili. Yesu ufanya mimi nguvu. Yesu ufanya mimi nguvu. Yesu ufanya mimi nguvu. Yesu ufanya mimi nguvu. Back to Jamaica. You make me stronger.
I'm Dr. Monica saying thank you so much and good night. God bless you. Until we meet again, have a wonderful night. Walk good.
Sing it again. You make me stronger. From Spain to Jamaica. You make me from Australia to US. Hallelujah. Hey, woo.
Refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers, job stealers, that is what they see. Beautiful faces, thick accents, a melting pot of culture, holding 3 to 4 jobs, back pocket of hopes and dreams, seekers of opportunities, that is what we see. I am Georgia Lawrence, the founding attorney of Georgia Lawrence LLC. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I migrated to the United States with 2 suitcases and $200 to seek a better life. I understand firsthand the importance of having a fighter on your team to navigate the complexity of the immigration system. Hence the reason I chose immigration and human rights law. Here at Georgia Lawrence LLC, we take pride in connecting our passion and purpose to your plan. Give us a call today.